Blog Talk Radio.
You were tuned into another episode of Endie Fiya with your girl, Nakia. Guys, there has been so much that has transpired since when we were here last Tuesday. Man, let me tell you, I'm in the center of this. Maybe I'm on the outskirts because I think it's coming my way of this hurricane, right? And so early this morning, I had to get up and go drive 3 hours to pick my daughter up. Who was right, or they're going to be like, they're going to get hit. All right, so I had to go get her from school because, for one, the school decided that, we're going to allow them to go to class today until 12. They announced that yesterday. And then this morning, like before dawn this morning, they're like, no classes, right? Like I could have picked her up yesterday. So here I am driving to go get her, not realizing, even though I've been checking the weather, not realizing that where I'm leaving from and going into, there's tropical storm warnings, there's tornado warnings, there's flash flood warnings, and anybody who knows me knows when I get on the interstate, speed limit is like 70, I'm doing like 90, right? You can't go that fast when it's raining. But I had to get my baby, and I had to get back here. Needless to say, we got back safely. I was able to find water at a city that's like an hour, from here, that is more inland, so they're not going to get a lot of they're going to get rain. They're not going to get what we're getting. So I was able to find water. I was able to find bread. So if anybody needs water, I got lots of water. All right? So I just want to say we do offer our prayers, extend our prayers and condolences to those lives that have been lost thus far from Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, those that are affected, the hundreds of thousands that are without power in Charleston, South Carolina. My best friend stays there. I've been talking to people all day long. I used to live in Charleston, so they're without power, but everyone that I've spoken to seems to be doing very well. Shout out to Rosalind L. I know you're down there battling this as well. So Endie Fiya does have you all in our thoughts and prayers as it moves up the coast. I got family in North Carolina that's still recovering from Florence on last year. My grandparents' house still is being, is still under renovations from last year's hurricane, like the same time last year. And so I talked to my grandmother today, and she's like, nah, I'm good. I'm staying where I'm at. I'm not leaving. So I ask, all of you who can get a prayer up, just pray for, the states of South Carolina, North Carolina, as it continues to move up. And it took like a turn last night. A lot of people underestimated the storm, and that's something you can't do with acts of nature. You can't underestimate them, especially when meteorologists had no clue about a lot of things that were going on. This has been such a trivial, hurricane for many, but it strengthened last night back up to a Cat 3. And so a lot of people just weren't prepared. A lot of mandatory evacuations hit last night. And so just keep those that are in the path of destruction in your thoughts and your prayers. All right? So on Tuesday, we had the founder of the Desire to Inspire Foundation here, Dawn Witt. Make sure that you check out that interview. Make sure that if you are interested in partnering with the organization, donating to the organization, they have so many great things going on right now and so many future activities and projects and programs that they're going to be implementing. So make sure, if you're interested, reach out to Dawn at the Desire to Inspire Foundation.org and find out how you can help with this foundation. We want to offer our condolences to the family and friends of rising country singer Kylie Ray Harris. She died in a car accident last evening in New Mexico. She was actually on her way to a concert last night when a 3-car collision occurred. It seems a 16-year-old driver was in one car who was also killed, and another driver in another car was, taken to the hospital. And they think that alcohol may have been involved in the accident. But again, rising country star from Texas. She, again, was headed to the Big Barn Music Festival, and this accident occurred. So we keep her family, and her friends in our prayers. I don't know how many of you all are Nicki Minaj fans. I'm Team Cardi. But Nicki made an announcement today that I don't know how true it is. I don't know if she's, trying to start some shit or whatever. She's trolling. I don't know. But she did make an announcement today on Twitter that she has decided to retire and have a family. She states that she knows that you guys are happy now. To her fan base, she says, keep repping her and do it to the death of her, because ain't nobody checking for her. She says, love you for life. So we'll see, she did make mention in somebody's song, I can't remember whose song it is, in somebody's song recently, the lyrics kind of lean toward becoming a mother and becoming a wife. So either way, she's done phenomenal in her role. Her brand has done amazing. So I wish her the best of luck. Motherhood's an awesome thing. It really is. I can't speak too positively about that marriage life, but motherhood is amazing. So I wish her the best of luck. We do. We wish her the best of luck. For you Dallas Cowboy fans, Zeke is back. He signed a $90 million deal for 6 years with the Cowboys. So to me, that's like officially Cowboy season. Like, we're ready to play now. I'm excited to see what happens this year. I'm super excited because my significant other is also a Cowboy fan, so I don't have to rival with anyone this year. We can have an amazing football season. Super excited. For you all who watch Power, it's still on. It still hasn't gotten exciting to me yet. There was so much talk behind the remix or the switch up of the intro track. Trey Songz is now on that. 50 got so much, lip behind that supposedly this coming Sunday, it will be the original intro, which features Joe. So we'll see. That would be amazing. Really would. Thank you for listening to your listening audience, 50. Also, if you watch Greenleaf, it's back on the OWN network Tuesdays. I don't know what time because I missed it. Somebody had to remind me. I missed it, but it is back on. So all your favorite shows. And I think there's something else that's new, Snowball or Snowleaf or Snowplow or something. Anyway, they say it's better than Power. So I'm going to have to jump on that and see what's going on with Snow, whatever it is. It's Snow something. All right? That's all I got. Speaking of snow, and it's a little early. It's a little early for the snow, but my guest is up there where there's a lot of snow. I miss the snow. I miss it. My guest this evening is urban fiction romance author Kandi Storm. She was born in California while her father was in the Marines. At the age of 3, they moved to Michigan, and she's been living there ever since. She started writing in high school where one of her teachers told her, quote, "Your stories sound like Harlequin books I buy at the grocers," end quote. Kandi is the author of Only Chance for Love. Her characters are intelligent, resourceful, smart, and sexy. I might be one of her characters because all of those adjectives describe me. They really do. Anyway, She lives in the suburbs of Michigan with her loving husband and children. She writes to not only entertain her readers, but also for the enjoyment of escaping reality, only to enter the world of unexpected exploration where all minds 18 and over can enjoy every entertaining erotic word. Her first book published, Only Chance for Love, a romance to break into the writing world. And also she has a short story that she has added with her other pen sisters, published by or with DreamWakeWorkPublishing. And I know you guys heard that name before. Yeah. She has the Pink Diamond series coming soon, and that will be a 3-part series. She has started her first urban fiction, and readers can expect that soon. Endie Fiya listener audience, I present to you this evening my guest, urban fiction romance author, Kandi Storm. Hello, how are you? How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can.
Awesome. And I said I probably would not get the opportunity because I would forget, but I seem to remember nowadays to thank my guests in advance. So, again, I thank you for joining me this evening. My listening audience, you could have been anywhere this evening, but you took the time out of your very busy schedule to join us here and to just shed some light on who Kandi Storm is and talk about your passion for writing, what inspires you to continue doing what you're doing. So I thank you, again, I thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you for having me.
You are so very welcome. When did you, now I know that your high school teacher told you that what you wrote kind of sounded like the Harlequin, romance novels, but when did you first decide that, writing is something that you really wanted to do?
Well, as a little kid, I've been writing, but, a little kid, you only write a little bit here and there. But as I grew and I learned how to actually write a little bit more and add to the story, I realized that I wanted to write and make up different worlds and characters and share it with everybody.
And so that began as a little girl. I have authors on the show who say that they, especially those who had the desire or the ambition when they were younger, there was something that triggered the writing. Like one author said, I was an only child and I played with my dolls a lot. And so writing for me was one way that's how I taught them. Like we played school, and so I taught my dolls, and then I began to write lesson plans, and from there, I started writing poetry, and from there I started writing books. How did it go for you? Like, was there something that triggered all of this, or was it just a passion from the beginning?
I think it was just a passion. I used to go to this cabin with my grandparents. And it's funny because at that time I wrote things about wild animals or people chasing you would be more scary. And after that, and I actually started writing, I don't write anything horror or drama or anything scary.
Wow. That's interesting. When you write, and I know that you have one book published and the short story published, but do you have other material that you've written that hasn't been published or that will never be published?
I do. I have a couple. They're mostly romance and erotic. I did one of a stripper and one, I'm not even sure what it would be called. She was just kind of all over the place. She was a wild character. That was just something for me to get down onto paper or onto the computer, something to kind of hone in on your skills, but nothing for anybody to ever look at.
So from that or those manuscripts that you wrote to the ones that were published, can you tell your growth? Can you tell that you grew as a writer?
Oh, yes. When I first started, grammar was horrible, but it was like all over the place. I couldn't get the characters and everything to stay together. It was chapters that should have been behind each other, but further into the book. Now, I feel like I do better with grammar, editing. I'm not great. I still need help, but I do a lot of that more on my own because I don't need as much help.
You mentioned your characters. When it comes to, and you did give a description, or your bio gives a description of the type of characters that are in Only Chance for Love. Again, I repeat, they're intelligent, they're resourceful, they're smart, and they're sexy. How do you select what type of characters that you want to put in your writing?
Most of them I know. I base them off in, they're a mix of people, but like family members, friends. I do a lot of people watching, or when we go out, I watch a group of our friends together and see what they do and how they react. Talking to my friends online, I use all of them.
Now, often writers are encouraged to write what they know. You mentioned that you're in constant contact with your friends, and do you find that you write from experiences that other people discuss, or you write from a point of view? This is what I know. This is what I know is going to sell. What is your point of view when you write?
It's actually a little bit of both, because I write for like what I like, and especially the romance. It's so big. So many people like romance, but it has to, catch their attention and make sense or whatever. So most of that space just out of my head, but the characters themselves are based on, things that I see on my own life or based off other people that would help me build a character up.
Why romance as a genre?
I don't know. I really wanted to try horror and drama, and I did try it a few times as an adult, and I didn't feel it just didn't work very well for me, and it didn't matter how much research or movies I watched. I just couldn't get it, and with romance or erotica, it just seemed to come so much easier. There was a flow to it, and I could get it done so much quicker.
Do you consider yourself a very romantic person?
I think so.
Does that help when you're writing?
It does. And it helps me even. My husband's not very romantic. So he's not a very good base to base a character off, and I have to use other guys that I know.
When you sit down, when you sit down to write a story, do you know how it's going to end initially?
I do not. People have told me I should use a timeline or an outline, and when I do that, I feel like I cannot stay up with my own story, and I miss things. When I write from the top of my head, I feel like it flows a lot better, and there's less that I have to add in later.
So describe your writing process, since you don't use a timeline or an outline.
Well, it depends. But normally I wake up and just sit down after my shower or whatever I have to do in the morning, and I grab a cup of coffee, and I sit down, and whatever's in my head, it's usually to do with that story. I've thought about it all night, and when I wake up in the morning, I know exactly where to start, or if I'm just starting one, I go with whatever is in my mind and let it keep growing.
How do you stay disciplined and not get distracted, especially and I know I think every author that I've talked to has some type of advice that keeps them disciplined, but different genres can be so you can be so into what you're writing that it's hard to stay disciplined. For example, I had an author who wrote a book about human trafficking and actually interviewed several survivors. That was a very emotional time in her life, and it was very hard for her to stay disciplined. Writing erotica, how do you stay disciplined? Like, I would be up, my imaginary ADD would be bouncing off the ceilings because I would be trying to go get my husband. You know, I'm talking about this while I'm writing, so you want to try this while I'm writing. You know, how do you stay disciplined and do not get distracted writing under this genre?
Well, I do. Me and my husband talk really openly, so we talk a lot about sex or read about it. We watch many movies. We're like just very open, so research anything that I need, I know I can just be like, hey, I need something. And he's really good at explaining if it's something that I really don't know about. So it's pretty easy. My biggest thing to stay grounded is to stay writing and off in social media.
Mhm. I think social media has become a lot of people's distractions. I use it, you know, that's where I do all of my promotion on social media. But I find myself, you know, scrolling and something catches my eye. The next thing I know, a whole hour has passed. Granted, I've done promo, you know, during that time, but I've spent an hour, you know, like laughing at posts. Laughter's good. I want to say that laughter's good, but I've spent, you know, this time laughing at posts or commenting, you know, or just being some type of offering encouragement or motivation to someone. But I still feel that social media is a huge distraction for a lot of people. So I feel you on that. You mentioned, and I know a lot of authors of different subjects, topics, they research. And you've mentioned the word research a lot, but in the genres that you write under, like, and I think I heard you say, like movies, like, you guys watch Pornhub?
Yes.
Do you find videos to be, are they beneficial in helping you write? Do they open up something within you that allows you to create more?
Like when I watch it, it's different because I watch it like to watch the women, and the men, but how they move, how they react. You know, the situation really wouldn't be the same because it's a movie and it's being directed. It kind of does help to see that, and then, you know, the different scenarios that people can be in and the way they would talk to each other. Not so much all the way they talk in the movies. I don't really write so much that way, but more of like maybe a scene I liked or an outfit or, you know, something like that I liked.
I get it. Now, I see that you are, or you started on your first urban fiction book that's going to be released sometime this year. Why urban fiction and not just fiction?
Well, too, because one, I've always wanted to try it, but reading them, I'm like, well, I'm not sure if I could do that. And then with working with DreamWakeWorkPublishing, the author is amazing. The publisher is amazing. And she really encourages you and will help you along the way. And I felt like, hey, with her, I can get this done if it's really possible.
Shout out to the publisher of DreamWakeWorkPublishing. We had her back on the show, I want to say maybe July, Sounds about right. July. She'll correct me if I'm wrong. July, I think it was. She was on the show. You guys may remember her as Sarah. She did talk about Dream Wake Work Publishing, but since then it has blown up there, and I can't tell you how many. I know that forthcoming we do have three of her authors that'll be on the show. It's just every day there's some phenomenal news about one of her authors, about book signings or some upcoming events or something. They are doing huge things over at DreamWakeWork Publishing. So shout out to Sarah. Shout out to you. Do you feel that urban fiction is defined by the subject or the skin color of the author?
I feel like it should be the work, but I feel like in the real world, which that's what makes it hard for me to write, it's more of the skin color of the author or the character. So it makes it harder for others to write that, write that genre.
Do you feel that that's going to be a problem for you?
I just didn't. I didn't talk as much. There's a lot of talking in there, but I cuss more than using like other words.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that works. I'm waiting to see what the publisher says, but we'll see how that one works.
What's one thing that you've done thus far in your writing that you never would have thought you would have done?
Actually be published and people seeing my book. I've been working on one book for so long, and I never thought that it would ever get published. And knowing that it's actually a dream, it has been an amazing experience.
So, with that being said, when you first started writing, was it just as a hobby? Was it just something to pass the time? Why would you not think that you had the potential of being published? Why that?
Because I'm such a shy person. Like, I get nervous really easily. So at first I was just writing for me because there were so many ideas and characters in my head. Like, I was just getting them out there. And then I started to join the community world and talk to other people that were writing or becoming authors themselves. And, they were like, well, can I read a little bit of this or a little sample? And I would show them. And they're like, you should really think about trying to do it, and see what happens. You already like to do it, and you write every day. And so I just took that chance.
And how did you link up with DreamWakeWork Publishing?
She contacted me on Instagram when we were talking about books and her being a publisher.
Had you been, I don't want to say proposition, but had you spoken to any other publishers prior to speaking to her?
I hadn't really talked to them as in, like, being serious, but a couple of them said that they had a publishing company and that I could send in chapters, so many chapters for them to see if we could fit. And that was a little while before Dream Wake Work, and I was like, maybe. And then when she contacted me, it just felt like we clicked. It was really easy to talk to her, and I was like, I'm just going to give her a shot and see how this works.
Awesome.
Hey, yo, what's good? It's your boy Jerusalem from the Scarfella Music Group, and you on the air with the hottest station, Endie Fiya. With your host, Lil Timmy and Nakia. Right here, on the station bringing you all the hottest hip-hop hits, Endie Fiya. Let's get it.
If you're just tuning in, you're live right here on another episode of Endie Fiya with my special guest, urban fiction romance author Kandi Storm. I see that my assistant went ahead and put this title on you prior to the book actually being published. So I never question why she does the things that she does. But I see there was a reason behind that. So I can't wait to read the book. Is there a release date for the book?
We do not have one yet. I would say in the next couple months.
Do we have a title for the book?
It is In Love with a Felon.
In Love with a Felon?
Yes.
Uh-oh. I don't think I've never mind. I was about to say, no, I don't think I've ever read, but never mind. All right, okay. Can we get just a little bit of what the book is about, or no? I mean, the title is self-explanatory, but
yeah, it's basically where this guy's he's just getting out of prison, so he needs to behave, and his mom asked him to go and help his grandma, so he moves to another state, and he likes this girl, but then they're in the middle of a war and a lot of problems going on, so he's kind of like, am I going to go back to prison, or am I going to stay out?
All right, guys. In Love with a Felon, Kandi Storm, in the next couple of months, definitely by the end of the year, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, definitely by the end of the year. So you follow me on social media. As soon as I get word that it's out, I'll let you know when it's out. All right? Now, is this book a part of the Pink Diamond series?
No, this one will be a standalone.
All right, so let's talk about the Pink Diamond series. Have you started on that?
Yes, I have. One book is all the way finished. The second one, I kind of got stuck with where I ended up starting In Love with a Felon. So I had to go back and finish where I left off from there. I think I'm good now and can finish that one. And then I just have to write the last book of that series.
So they're all coming out at one time?
Yeah, basically back to back, but one at a time.
Okay. All right. And why Pink Diamond? Why the name Pink Diamond?
Pink is my favorite color, and then I went with my dad's birthstone, which was diamond, and then I felt like that was kind of a good name for like the series itself, for a webcam, like a fake webcam company.
Ah. Okay. So this series of books, romance, erotic, yeah?
Yes.
I'm excited to read this too. You can't tell, like, I love erotic, and erotica. So I get tickled when I have that type of author on the show. And we try to keep it family oriented here. We don't want to go into too many details because I don't know who's sitting, posted up with their little son or their little daughter. And so I want to keep it, especially respectful for our listening audience as well as, my guests. But this genre really does, I'm curious about the genre and how so many different authors portray scenarios and the words that are used to describe, certain things and the scenes. And I'm fascinated because I have, my mind is, it stays on that level. So,
that's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. When did you first realize that as an author, I've been writing, for X amount of years, but when did you first realize that words had power?
It had to be close to my teenage years. There, diaries and things that you can say, either positive or negative. Either way it can go, then words are powerful to another person. And I realized that, and putting them together makes it even more powerful. A strong sentence or paragraph, or a statement or whatever. Words are very powerful, from emotion to everything we do in life.
As let's back up a couple of years. I won't even say as a child, as a younger adult, when you first started writing, did you ever imagine that you would be a published author?
No, I just thought I would be writing and then I would give it up and it would be the end of that. And, having kids and starting a family and, going to work, it did get put off and I didn't get to write like I wanted to. But I just went right back to it and wanted to write again. And then I just started writing. And, again, it was for myself. But then I just started writing again. And then that's when I met, awesome people online. And they really encouraged me to at least try because the work was, pretty good. And if it's something that I have a passion with, I might as well go out there and do it. And so I was like, wow. I never imagined ever having my name out there or a book.
What keeps you motivated and inspired to pursue your passion daily?
I think just for the love of writing and reading. I tell my kids all the time, I have a daughter, she loves to read. I have a son that hates it. He absolutely hates to read. And I'm
get one of those.
Let's read. I'm like, is it a boy thing? Because the boys are having a hard time. And I try to encourage them, let's read. Look, if you read this book, look, it's about dragons. You can go into this world. And he's like, I do not care. And I feel like a lot of kids are growing into that, and we're, really focused on reading and books, and to be able to just keep going and hope that people pick up reading, children, adults. This is something that everybody should do, read.
Yeah, I agree. I have a son. My youngest son is the same way. He can't stand reading, and I'm just like, I don't get it. At one time he was very, very passionate about it, and then he got older, and then it was just, no, I don't want to read. And I'm thinking, but you can't there's not a subject that you're able to get by without, having to read. So you got to read, So I understand. I don't know. It's something about the boys, I believe. It's something about the boys. When you think of success, would you consider yourself to be successful right now?
I would consider successful as in writing and doing good, but where I want to be, not yet.
So how would you measure success in your role if you're not where you want to be? You're trying to level up. How would you measure success?
Besides writing, there's other stuff that I want to do. Me and my sister-in-law have been talking about opening a business where we can do hair, braiding and whatever, hair or whatever. And we want to start doing that. And I've been watching people where they're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. But then they don't do anything to get there and then complain. I'm trying to do everything I can, writing. I did quit working, but my husband works. Writing, so income coming in, anything to make extra money to start my business, to get out there. It's not going to fall in my lap. I have to go out there and do the legwork.
Right. Okay.
So when I can get to there, I think I will feel a lot better. I'll feel successful.
Okay. How do you think that you can make the brand Kandi Storm better?
Get more books out there. I do need to market a little bit more. I was thinking about starting to put the logo Kandi Storm on different items, like things that I would use out in public. A bag, a pen, a coffee cup because I drink a lot of coffee. Just things that people could see in the real world, not just on the internet.
All right, so Kandi Storms wants merchandise. All right, I hear you. Speaking of Kandi Storm, where did your name come from?
I actually was brainstorming it with one of my friends, and I was like, well, Candy sounds sweet, but Storm sounds like kind of like drama or, something's coming. And I was like, if we put the two together, it could be erotic. So I went with Kandi Storm.
Huh. Now, is your name Candy?
No. My name is Kim.
Oh. I thought your name was okay. All right. Yeah, so Candy's sweet, and then we got Storm. I like that. And I love your logo. Shout out to whoever did your logo. I love that. What do you?
Felicia Ann.
Who?
I think her name was Felicia Ann.
Well, shout out to you, Miss Felicia Ann. That logo is fire. I love it. I like thundering and lightning. Anyway, those are just, I don't know, certain things turn people on. Well, thundering and lightning, that's it for me. So when I saw the logo, I was like, oh yes, I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Do you have any other goals? Well, I'm sure you do. What are your goals moving forward?
I just want to get more books, get my business going, and I want to be able to help other authors, like new authors that come in, and help them the way that my publisher helped me or some of the friends in the writing world helped. I've seen a lot where there's people that is just so mean, and then others take the time and try to help out as much as they can. And I feel like paying it forward is the best thing to do. So my goal is to help the next author. Like when I can get to that platform where I can help another author.
Right. That would have been my next question. What do you do as far as, or do you do anything as far as assisting other authors or being noticed in your community? Do you have any platforms that you work with as an author?
I do talk to other people. They've asked me questions about how it is to get published or what's it like to write your first book, what's the first step to take. And I answer them, I got lucky with my publisher. The first step is to really write, and then edit from there and then find whatever publisher that you fit with. Others are just was like, oh, do you like this cover? Anything little. So I helped them with that. Anything that they need help with, and I actually have an answer, and if I don't, I do try to point them to somebody that does.
What is the last thing that you learned?
Let me see. So the last thing I learned, I think it would have to be my character development because they're usually, I think they need more dialogue. I don't usually have enough for them to be, for the sentence or conversation to really be clear enough. I think I'm think I'm doing a lot better with that.
And what is the last thing that you taught someone?
Actually, it was over. I had just had to help somebody with formatting. Even though I still have a hard time with it, I know what to do. It just doesn't always do it. So I did have to help I did help a new author with, font size and having to indent instead of all of it being in one little section. So I helped one out with that.
Now, combining the last thing that you learned and the last thing that you taught someone else, if a new author is listening to the show right now and they say, hey, I've been writing for years and I got all this material and I think I'm ready to, actually attempt to have this book published or a book published, what piece of advice could you offer them about character development and the importance of proper formatting?
Well, for your characters, because your characters are a big part of your book. I mean, like the biggest part. So sort of dialogue, conversation does not go together. It will be really hard for somebody to understand it or follow along. A publisher will most likely not want to take it that way, which will be considered like editing. You don't want to send something in and then not like it too many times. So you want to be real careful with that. And formatting, each publisher has a different critic for for formatting, I'm sorry. But for the normal part, New Times Roman 12, and then for each paragraph, you have to, because I'm really bad at that, and I do send it to my publisher without the indents, but I think I'm doing better with the rest of the formatting. So I do try to make sure they know you have to stay on formatting, but it's very important that they see that, because I've been told many times that they will throw it in the trash.
Wow. All right, new authors. I tell you, each time you have an author on the show, they drop so much knowledge, and they give you nuggets, not for you to just listen to on the show and discard, but to make them applicable to your career. These are published authors, some of them national best-selling publishing authors. So if they're giving you this free advice, take it and utilize it, make it applicable, again, to your career, and so that you can prosper and soar, in the direction that these authors are doing. What one word would best sum up the vision that you have for your brand?
Adventurous.
Why?
Because there's so many, I don't want to be stuck in one veneer, so I want to venture out. I want it to be, I want to try my hand at everything. Anything I can think of to do right, as long as it works and can flow, I want to really try it.
So now, does that include the horror?
It does. I have like a general plot idea with characters or of things that will happen and things like that. It's just in a file of to come. I haven't even wrote one chapter. I was like, I'm gonna try that maybe last.
All right, so now the horror is different from sci-fi, right? They're not the same.
Right.
Now, is there some type of like romantic sci-fi that's out now?
There is, but I'm not really sure if they call it romance sci-fi, but it's mostly aliens and humans falling in love.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. For a novice in the erotica writer. Give them some advice on how to start writing erotica.
You have to feel comfortable. Because a friend of mine, she wanted to start, and I sat down and I talked to her, and I told her, think of an idea in fantasy, whatever fantasy you have of sexual or close to sexual, you write that down on a piece of paper, but as a different character. And no matter how many times she tried it, she just wasn't comfortable and couldn't do it. So be comfortable first, and then kind of go with your own fantasy. What is one of your biggest fantasies that has not came true, but that you could write about?
That's some more good advice right there, guys. I'll be soaking all of this stuff in. I'll be telling y'all to soak it in, but I'll be soaking it all into myself. That's good. Yeah, you have to be comfortable. I feel like you have to be comfortable with your sexuality, talking about sex. It's not something that you could just see it and think, yeah, I think I can do this. You have to be very comfortable in your skin to write from that perspective, I feel. Yeah. I want to go ahead and give you the opportunity now to get all of your contact information out for anyone who may be listening to the show now or may come back and listen to a playback show, and they're interested in, giving you research material, giving you presenting you with marketing strategies, how to get, the merchandise that you want. You and your sister want to start this hair company or this hair business. There may be someone listening who has an avenue to, put you in the right direction. So the opportunity is now open for you to go ahead and get all of your contact information out so that these people can get in contact with you, and also to purchase Only Chance for Love, the short stories. The Pink Diamond series is forthcoming, as well as In Love with the Felon, to be released this year. The floor is now yours to get all of that contact information out.
Okay, thank you. For Facebook, it is Kandi Storm 00, and that would be the same for Twitter. My Instagram is Kandi Storm, and do I give you my Gmail?
Yes.
And then my Gmail is candystorm00@gmail.com.
There you go. So I believe Twitter was Kandi Storm 00 and Facebook?
Yes.
And candy, guys, is not like the candy you eat. It's not Candy, it's Kandi. All right? Because, I have people like, I try to find her, but I couldn't find her because you were spelling it wrong. So it's Kandi with a K and an I, Storm, STORM 00 on social media. All right? So, again, if you're listening live and you want to reach out to her, or if you listen to a playback show and you want to reach out to her, that's all of her contact information there. If anyone's interested in having their books published, how can they get in contact with DreamWakeWorkPublishing?
You can contact DreamWakeWorkPublishing@gmail.com.
There you go. And I do know that they are DreamWakeWork on Instagram and DreamWakeWork on Facebook.
Yes,
take a look at both social media pages, and you can see all of the authors, up-and-coming authors, what they have going on. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of great things with this publishing company. I'm proud to have met the publisher and to be associated with her and everything that she has going on. As I mentioned, we do have another author, I think the end of this month, and then another one next month. All right, so eventually we're going to have all of the Dream Wake Work Publishing authors on the show. I'm excited about that. Very, very, very excited. Next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have El Postman out of Reno, Nevada. He is a rap artist, and I'm excited. We haven't had any new music on the show in a while, so I am super excited to have him here on next Tuesday. On next Thursday, author, writer, journalist, social media influencer, Patrice Rivers will be back with us. She was here, I think it was July. She talked about her new book that was coming out. Well, the book is out. And, you know, we love doing debuts over here. And so we're going to debut her new book next Thursday. And then on next Saturday, special time and a special date. Next Saturday, the 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't want to give out too many details until I had the go-ahead. Well, I have the go-ahead now, so you'll start seeing the promo for this soon. How many of you remember the Patty Pie guy? Yeah, nobody? All right, so let me tell you really quickly. All right, so this guy, Patti LaBelle, came out with pies, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, right? And Walmart sold this sweet potato pie, and everybody thought it was the bomb, and it was selling out everywhere, right? So this guy decides to make this video, and in the video, he's singing, you know, he sounds just like Patty, but he's giving, you know, his commentary on how good the pie is. This video went viral, over 7 million views, and he became known as the Patty Pie guy. Before that, he did some things before that. I mean, he was a chef, he was a singer, but that video just boosted his career. He became, you know, a celebrity chef, a celebrity stylist, a social media influencer. He's been on, I don't watch the show, but I guess I need to go catch an episode. The Tamar and Vince, when they were married, they had a show. All right, yeah. So he was on that. He's been a backup singer for Tamar Braxton. I'm super, super excited to present to you all next Saturday, the 14th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Patty Pie Guy, James Wright channel. So make sure that you're tuning in, because you know me. You know how I get when I have people on the show. I'm calm tonight with Kandi Storm because I'm over here sipping on my wine. So I'll probably have to have a whole bottle next week with him. We will have a special guest host on the show as well. So if you don't hear a lot of me talking, you'll hear her. So if you can't make all of these shows, please don't miss all of the shows. All right? Thank you again, Kandi Storm, for being here with us this evening. Again, you could have been anywhere, but you took the time out of your very, very busy schedule to join us here on Endie Fiya. Once you're on the show, you're family, so you're welcome back at any time. So we expect to have you back when In Love with the Felon drops. We expect to have you back on the show. Sound good?
For sure. Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You are so very welcome. And as always, guys, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, please keep all of those who have been affected by Hurricane Dorian in your thoughts and prayers as it continues to move up the East Coast this evening, in the morning tomorrow. Just keep all of those in the path of destruction in your thoughts and prayers. As always, I want to leave you with a quote. Music is great. It's a natural high and a great natural escape. That's Shania Twain. So until next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, have a good night.